Hello, everyone, again. A double bill on this wonderful Thursday. Good to see you all. So, welcome to what promises to be a lively debate and chat on this Sensory and News night on Thursday, the 27th of November, 2025. Some things need time to percolate, to be digested, to be absorbed. And I'm not going to do a chat about Peter Kay's Absorbable Love either, no. No, something is fishy. Something is off in relation to the Ncuti Gatwa time on Doctor Who. So many surprises, so many rumours. Once you sit down and put it together, you do ask the question more loudly than ever before. Was he actually sacked? It's sadly not unusual with Doctor Who. You could argue William Hartnell was pushed. You could argue John Pertwee was pushing his negotiations over more money. And Tom Baker, doesn't he look tired? John Nathan Turner wants a new team. And of course, Colin Baker. Now, I have done a few solo shows today and over the week and various other shows, so you all know the cut of my jib. But the refreshing thing again tonight on the Sensory, and may I say, more fresh content, more new shows, all for your amusement and entertainment. We have some great, well-informed panelists tonight. I'm grabbing John while I can. Let's just get him on. Where is he? There he is. I'm grabbing John while I can because he's about to hit megastardom. He's like Dame Edna of the YouTube world. Him and Sci-Fi Chronicles, now he's sitting on the Stargate excitement. He's going to be Mr. Big soon. So I'm going to grab him while I can. Hiya, John.
Hi, mate. How you doing? I thought you said well-informed. You talking about me? Couldn't be further from the truth, mate.
Yeah, I'm picking you up. I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know. And of course, he's got up early for us. Bless him. He's one of our detoxers. He has his own channel too, of course, Sirens of Audio. So it's always great to get Dwayne on, and good to see you.
G'day. How you going?
We're going very well. It's nice to have you on at this ungodly hour for the Australians.
It's okay. All very well for you to grab John while you can, but please don't grab me.
Luckily, I can't reach. And I haven't had the red carpet out for a while for the Queen of the Walk, but she is back. She's here. She's up to trouble. Here she is.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, more than just up to trouble.
That's what they all look like.
Oh, says it all, doesn't it?
Celebrity squares of Sensory. Here we go. So, welcome to you all. There's plenty to talk about, and I'll obviously try and fire bullets and all the rest of it. But can I just say, as I just start off, and I think we all clearly agree with this, but you know what it's like with YouTube. If we're going to talk about Ncuti Gatwa tonight, I want to say it now on behalf of us all. I have no problem with gay actors. I have no problem with black actors. I have no problem with any of this. That is not part of our discussion. It's other stuff. That's what I want to talk about tonight. But I need to say it because some people listen to half a sentence and go off on one and accuse you of every little ism going. So I'm putting it out there straight away. So what are we talking about tonight? Well, add 2 and 2 and make 5, or add 2 and 2 and make 4. Suspicious goings on in Doctor Who with Ncuti Gatwa and his era. I give a few headlines here straight away. It was one of the shortest tenures. Was that the plan? No. So something changed. The last minute production overhauls and reshoots. Was that part of the plan? No. So why did that happen? The production delays for season 3. Why? Rumours of political backlash and a divisive stance by Ncuti Gatwa didn't help. Is that part of what happened here? And the lack of fanfare and the immediate show hiatus at the first opportunity, because obviously it was season 1 and 2 back to back. So of course this is the first opportunity. And at the first opportunity, is it season 3 commissioning or is it hiatus? It's hiatus. So add those all together and a few timelines and quotes I'll show you all, and a few anecdotes that I hear from various sources. And I'm really strong in the position now, an opinion that I think he was sacked. What say you, John?
I think he was, how can I put it? He went before he was sacked. an exit deal was negotiated and agreed by his agent to save face. That's kind of where I am with it. And I always go back to the Graham Norton show where he talks about, oh, we're about to film season 3, and then they cut that clip. So that his run was curtailed, just by what was said in the public arena, really. So yeah, I do think he was going to be sacked, but he decided, or his agent decided, to get him an exit deal to save face before that actually happened.
Yeah. What's your conclusion or best guess, Dwayne?
Well, like we've had with Christopher Eccleston, we know that lots of things go on behind the scenes that we don't know about and don't hear about for many years to come. Maybe we will one day, maybe we won't. Whatever the case, what was intended to happen didn't happen. And so things went on behind the scenes, and we can speculate about various things because we all hear things. Some of us know people who are close to the action. But yeah, so I think that potentially there was a lot of people who wanted him gone, and he was given the option to go in a way that was more respectable than being sacked. Let's put it that way.
Rachel?
Well, it could be either or, really. I kind of sit on the fence with this one. I'm kind to agree with John a bit more. Shocking, I know. Don't get big-headed, John. Okay. Production companies are quite well known, particularly the bigger ones, to say to an actor, like, you're stepping down, but and you release a statement to say that you're stepping down from the role, but really you're fired. That's what that means. So I think I'm going more with John. He negotiated an exit deal on this one, I think. And to be honest with you, I think that was the right decision.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're obviously going to help everybody tonight in the thread as well to actually make your own conclusion. But I have to say, I have warmed to the conclusion that he was either, as you say, it's a moot point whether he was actually officially sacked, or the way the media does it, as we've all kind of agreed, they give you an option to just save face. But basically, there was no choice. Hobson's choice. So I'll throw a few bit of context in the way first, just so we know where we stand on this. So basically, this is the Guardian on the left of things saying, basically, they're hinting at the short tenure. Fun, flirty, and far too brief. Why did Ncuti Gatwa leave Doctor Who so soon? Right? So the Guardian was perplexed. You then have, on the other side of things, the Sun newspaper. The Doctor Who's wokest ever lead star, Ncuti Gatwa, exits after just 2 series, with the show to be paused after ratings nosedive. Ratings nosedive, unpopular show, it's not working. He gets the push. As I would say to Rachel, and she'd join in every time, Colin Baker was the hitman. He had to be thrown out, and it wasn't his fault.
No, it wasn't his fault. And it's so easy to blame the face of the show. And this is essentially what's happening here, whether you could consider it to be Ncuti's fault or not, or a little bit of Ncuti's fault. They're going to blame him because he's the fault. He's easy to make a fall guy. Scapegoat. Is that the right word? Yeah. Get there in the end. Sorry, I've been at work. Sorry.
But you see, remember the red carpet, not the one you're on, Queen of Walk, but the red carpet when they announced they'd picked Ncuti Gatwa, and RTD was stood next to him saying, oh, we've grabbed this young actor, great talent, he's going to have a big future, and he's going to be around, and the hint that he was going to be in Doctor Who for ages, and we might have seen him like this. Wow. Getting old with that same costume. The same costume would have been all right.
Looks more like an old Del Trotter, to be honest. From what I see.
I was just about to say, I hope he ages better than that.
That's when he's 40.
I think he will age better than that.
He's got bad knees already. He won't be standing up.
Oh yeah, if that's his face, don't look at his knees. I tell you, honestly, shocking. So yes. And of course, I'm triggering Rachel here.
Yeah, I'm triggered.
But yeah, we didn't see him cosplay because, you know, like in The Power of the Doctor, you saw Jodie Whittaker go through a very strange moment when she had a bit of everything on her. But yeah, so we never saw any of that. We never saw him really hit all the merchandise. We never saw all these animations with him. Hallelujah, I say.
Oh
Look
God.
at that. I mean, that's promising, eh?
Oh gosh.
Can
Frightens
I
me to death.
can I just say, I think Rachel's right that
Shocking.
it's easy for him to be made the full guy, but I do think, well, there's two things really. One, I think there was evidence from the beginning that he had some sort of attitude problem because, and don't get me wrong, there's a lot of it that's probably enhanced by being in the surroundings of Russell T Davies and that production team, because right from the off, they were antagonistic towards the Doctor Who fans.
Yes.
And we had the famous gammon comment. There were other things that were brought up. You got you had Millie
Touch grass.
Gibson saying stuff, touch grass. You
Yeah.
had all of that was coming out, and then you had Russell T Davies doing his stuff as well. And it was kind of, I never believe. The thing is, for me, maybe I've got cynical on my age, but when you talk about that BAFTA premiere, that where literally Russell T Davies is almost like rubbing up against him while they're cuddling on the red carpet. Nobody is that nice. Nobody are that nice and pleasant, as far as I'm concerned, and with grinning like that. And I always thought to myself, and I've said it many a times, I look forward to the day when the NDAs finish and the
Yeah.
books start being written, because that's going to be
Well-
a humdinger.
Well,
know.
one of my sources has said those NDAs could go on forever, though, Rachel. They could go on
Yeah,
forever.
it could be. We don't know how long it's going to be. I mean,
A lot finish after 5 years, though.
it's
There's the Disney exec. Yeah.
standard, yeah. I mean, Christopher Eccleston's only recently started talking, so
And he
I
said
mean-
he was blacklisted from the Beeb for 10 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's on record as saying that.
Mm.
Yeah.
I
So,
would argue that Ncuti is not necessarily the face of the show. He's one of the faces, but in New Who especially, the showrunner has become a face of the
Yeah.
show as
Yeah.
well.
Good point.
In addition, like never before, J&T was up there a little bit in the 80s, but never before has the showrunner and that showrunner role been so front and center like it is. So it's
Yeah.
kind of a joint thing, I guess, between RTD and Ncuti for being the
Yeah.
face of the show.
yeah, for good or bad, it then gets compromised by who the showrunner is or what he believes in and all the rest of it. So here we go. We all remember this. I'm giving you all nightmares, but basically, the hype of season 1 and 2. And his face is on everything because he's such a brilliant prospect. It seemed all set up, but you see, in my final element of my context, before I really show you elements of rumour and everything else, everybody, let's not be fooled by all these puff pieces about his unfinished ambitions. These are smoke screens, I would argue, to hide the truth. When it comes to Doctor Who under Russell T Davies, don't look at where they are pointing you, stick to the logic. Because, there's Ncuti when he left saying, I never got to work with the Daleks. I hope I come back. Forget all that nonsense. That's supposed to deflect from actually, well, why the hell have you left?
Oh, that's the only deflection that I've believed, because he said that even before he left. So that he hadn't faced the Daleks. So that's the only one I believe.
Yeah. And there you've got his comment again, just about, I never got to fight a Dalek or a Cyberman. I mean, it's just the crux of Doctor Who. So I might do that in the future.
Thank heavens for small mercies. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
I'm glad we didn't get that. Oh, blimey.
So there's of course, John played bingo and he mentioned that early doors. Don't watch, turn off the TV, go and touch grass, please, for God's sake. This surely must be in the equation, because he was asked, he was fed a line by the Variety. They said
Yeah.
there's some reaction to your diversity, you being a first black doctor, first openly queer actor. And then, of course, I think he was triggered a little bit and on the defensive, saying, well, turn off then. Don't be triggered by it. Go and touch grass. Please, for God's sake.
Don't be distracted by the quote, though, because it's the opening paragraph there that's a straw man. that's not the reaction as to
No.
why we didn't like the show. It had nothing to do with diversity or being black or queer. So that sort of is wrong more than the quote, to be honest. The quote's, neither here nor there, but to sort of kind of straw man all the fans by saying this is why they hate the show. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
agree with you. Go on, Rachel.
his
Sorry.
answer should have been a deflection. It shouldn't have been a response.
I think
He shouldn't have answered like that.
I think in my view on it is, and we talked about it at the beginning of series 1, and I sort of said, I was saying at the time, are there no good PR managers that are just looking after the actors and just saying, keep your gob shut?
Yeah.
Read this, keep your gob shut. But the trouble is, and again, I don't know this is just me theorizing now. If Ncuti Gatwa has already got a bad attitude before he joins Doctor Who, and then he's working with Russell T Davies, who's egging him on, because we know Russell T Davies was on TikTok and places telling people to F off who had asked perfectly reasonable questions about what he was doing to the series and to the show. So if you've suddenly got that kind of attitude where you feel like you can walk on water and you're never going to be reprimanded or there's never going to be a consequence for what you say or do, then being egged on by people behind you in the production management, that is going to push you even further to do even more extreme stuff. So I can believe that he was hard work, and I believe that's probably why, they had to part company. But again, it doesn't absolve the management team at Bad Wolf and RTD, because they're in it up to their necks as well.
That Variety interview, it's important for me to say there was a person sat next to Ncuti when he said that.
But
and
I
it
need
was
to.
Russell T Davies, the
There you go.
showrunner, the man who runs Doctor Who and is the protector apparently of it. He could have butt in to deflect at any point to save Ncuti's skin, but he obviously agreed with it.
And don't get me wrong, this is the same Russell T Davies who, just as it was coming back, actually publicly said he reprimanded Ncuti. I forget what it was for the way he was behaving in front of kids or in public. He said something or done
Swearing,
something,
wasn't it?
I think it might have been swearing. He says you don't do that, but yet all this is fair game. So it's a very, very peculiar production chaos by the sounds of it.
Well, we will.
I think he was in public smoking too around kids, which is not
that too.
a thing
I
to
heard
do
that.
either.
Now, I will be careful and list various sins soon, everybody in the thread, and I'll use the word alleged an awful lot as well. But, there are anecdotes out there, and there's no smoke without fire when you see the list of anecdotal evidence. But basically, he said that, and in relation to that, my source said this: insulting fans is not the behavior of a professional executive showrunner of a television show. In deliberately insulting the fans and allowing the lead actor to say to the fans, go and touch grass, I mean, that is and should be a sackable offence. So bringing that into the pot, early doors, he was saying stuff that was going to make it consumer resistance, basically.
Yeah.
This attitude is a long-term attitude, not just of Ncuti or RTD, but it comes right from the top. We've just seen how the BBC has been in a lot of trouble for feeling they can say and sort of cherry pick comments from whoever they like, especially people they don't like. And we see what trouble the BBC has got in as a result of that. And that attitude has flowed on right through. So, of course, Bad Wolf RTD is going to think that they can own the narrative and steer anyone in any direction they want. And so that's all, of course, going to flow on to Ncuti as well, that attitude. Yeah. So, it comes right from the top, in my view.
Yeah. Well, this is all, I'm just throwing in context, everybody. I'll start to show you various bits and bobs in a moment. Now, Marie, thank you very much. Saw you earlier today as well. I hate it when people like RTD and Ncuti go on like they've reinvented the wheel. There have been people of colour in Wed Raw since 1988. And of course, as Drain quite rightly said, none of us were saying anything about that. I like Idris Elba. I could make a whole blooming list. We all watch shows from Luther onwards. There was a list of black actors to replace Chris Eccleston, and I had no problem with any of them, Patrick Joseph and all the rest of it. That's not an issue.
We had black actors throughout the history of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Early as like what?
The
William
Smugglers. I was
Hartnell,
listening to that the
Smugglers,
other
was
day,
it?
and
Yeah.
there's a actor in The Smugglers who's a
10th
black
Planet.
actor. So
Yeah,
10th Planet.
there you
Yep.
go. So
And
it's not unheard of.
no, I mean, I've said this to you guys before as well, and I think my view for me growing up, I thought that we got to a point in the 90s to probably the early 2000s, mid 2000s, where there were always going to be idiots, but society had got itself to a point where everybody just respected everyone. I didn't give a damn about someone's skin color. You know, I just respected who they were as a person. You know, if they were an arsehole, I didn't think about, their skin color's that. They can't possibly be an arsehole, as RTD has tried to tell us. I just looked at it, whether they're a decent, well-mannered person or whether they've got an attitude problem. It's only in the last few years where RTD and people like him have tried to sow this division by basically going, we need representation, we're in danger, blah, 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 blah. No, it's nonsense. What it is the fact that you're trying to cause a rift when there wasn't a rift. And I think you just need to get back to just someone high up in the BBC. And again, what Dwayne was saying earlier, I don't think we're ever going to get that, of basically saying, no, this is your job. You don't cross this line. If you cross this line, you're out. You're flung out. But we're not going to get that, are we?
Well, I have to say, you have to mention Colin Baker. Colin Baker done nothing wrong at all, apart from being very professional, knew his lines, and put a lot of passion into it. And yet he still got the bloody heave-ho. So when we know the anecdotes, and when we know the mistakes, and when we see the presentation of this era, and we think he wasn't sacked, I mean, get a life, everybody. He was well and truly bloody pushed. Anyway, Marie, got to say thank you. I always will. So here we go. Yeah, I haven't seen them in Niagara for ages now. So there you go. Thank you very much, Marie. And so I'll get moving now with we've moved from the context to I'm going to start showing you some evidence. Just to give you a bit more tasty stuff, Will Sharp was apparently rumoured to be RTD's second choice to play the 15th Doctor. But me, you, I think Rachel, and definitely Dwayne know another name that we can't say, but there was another name that we think got paid off, who was ahead of Ncuti and ahead of Will Sharp. It's fascinating. And this is what I think Disney has always been unhappy about. They were never happy with the Ncuti choice. They went with it because they were basically, sidelined. But then when, the SHIT hit the fan, Disney weren't going to back it, were they? So, last bit of context there. So,
without mentioning the name,
yes,
Disney would have been excited about that particular person because he was in a successful Disney film many years earlier. So they would have thought, yeah, this is a great idea. And then to have this complete unknown in Ncuti get forced on them would have been quite a shock, I would suggest. The thing with Disney too is that it's interesting how the United States and the rest of the world, things that go on politically in the United States usually take a couple of years to catch on somewhere else. So during the Ncuti era, we were in that crossover period where Disney was suddenly looking at their bottom line and going, hang on, we've got to start changing our entertainment values here. We will need to entertain the audience rather than try and tell the audience something. So that was all happening, but the BBC hadn't caught up yet. So I think in a way, Doctor Who was kind of caught in that transition period, if I can use the word transition without getting cancelled. And that's what part of the problem was. They were just not in the same era, shall we say. America and UK are in completely different eras, and the UK hadn't caught up yet.
Yeah, well, I
has
we'll
now.
hear that a lot now. So, what happened then? That was the context. What happened? It looked so promising. Ncuti was going to be here for ages. He was definitely going to be here for season 3 because all the story arcs were leading to season 3. He was going to meet Susan in season 3. So something went seriously wrong to change all that. Just to remind you of the excitement and the belief and the hype. Here we go.
Brand new season of this hit series. Brand new season of this hit series. Brand new season of this hit series.
I've not had a companion that challenges the Doctor as much. The greatest trouble he's ever faced before. Vivians will love this season. It's
The best reveal.
the best reveal.
No, but it's you.
Well, Doctor?
Of course. The Master.
And I always show that because obviously they were hitting the hype in America and all the rest of it, and they said it's going to be the best reveal ever. I'm still waiting for the best reveal. I mean, Yana, Jarek Jacobi, the Master and Keep of Traken or whatever. No, it wasn't, was it?
Come on, it was Jodie. What are you talking about?
I mean, what was the big reveal? An anorexic Omega. Omega. Oh, listen, get me. I've got American now. I mean, what? Didn't.
I've got to say, seeing all of those clips you put up there, I still will stick by the fact that there was no essence of the Doctor and his portrayal at all. It's just not there. It's like a hollowed out carcass. It really is. He's an avatar for RTD. There is no Doctor there whatsoever. And again, I don't know. And again, this is just me with my opinions, but I always felt previous Doctors in the past, they respected the role. Whereas I just see now there's people like Ncuti Gatwa that they see it as a stepping stone and a vehicle to move on to Hollywood. You know, they don't respect it as they once did. And again, why do I say that? That's borne out by, you know, his TikTok videos where he's in his underpants in the gym, you know, with his camera up, putting it live. It's previous eras of Doctors, they wouldn't even do that sort of thing, you know. But then
having said that, John, I mean, if you look at it, I was watching the beginning of the Church and Ruby Roo the other day, you know, for research and all the rest of it. If you think about it, this is the first Doctor and probably the last Doctor. He was introduced in his underpants. The first proper story, he was in a skirt in a nightclub, and he ended the era in a skirt. I mean, I'm sorry, but if you think about it, there's nothing mainstream about this at all, and that is not Ncuti. That's RTD's choice.
Yeah. He probably lost his unit pass with those outfits as well, to be honest.
Yeah. So when I say what was the problem, where was the planning, we've referred to Graham Norton, that moment, that great edit, because of course this is what he said, and I'm going to be very specific here. October 2024. So everything was in play in October. He said at first, we did the second series this year, the Christmas special's coming up, and we are filming the third series next year. They were planning to start filming originally in January 2025. In October, he was still in play. Okay? And then, of course, something happened. Hold the room. And of course, the edit changed to, we finished the second series earlier this year. We've got the Christmas special coming out at Christmas. It's been amazing.
Oh, that wonderful bit of editing that the BBC likes to do.
Yeah.
Got the Christmas special coming out at Christmas. That's bizarre.
Yeah, I know. I think he did joke at that point going, oh, yes, that's a bit obvious of me to say that. But if everybody just reminds themselves, so what is your deduction, Dwayne? This is late in the day, October, and you're about to start filming series 3 in January, and he's on board.
Well, as you know, I'd got together with quite a few fans on the mainland of Australia in March, and that's where I definitely heard rumours that he had been sacked, and RTD had been asked to leave as well. So that was March that I was hearing those things. So I can't substantiate anything. All I can say is what I heard.
Yeah.
Well, bits of what I heard. I'm not going to go into detail.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. I will confirm or coalesce around some of those in a moment. I'm not teasing everyone. Just after this section on Graham Norton, I will actually start giving more details. So you will hear more in a moment. So timelines are important. Ncuti thought he was in series 3. Maybe that's the way I should have put it. Maybe RTD thought he was doing series 3 at this point. Then things changed because maybe the higher ups were already having little discussions and those two weren't involved. That's how it
Was
sometimes
it
works.
before October the 11th, that date there? Was it before then that RTD had come out and said, because the fans were going, when's the announcement of the next series? And RTD said, well, even if Disney isn't involved, we will still proceed with a series. Had he said that at that point?
I'd have to check that one as well. There's so much to check, isn't there? It's a good question, Dwayne. Off the top of my head, the thread might help me. I know he did the news round bit. The pause came later when he mentioned pause twice in a line.
Yeah, that was in the new year, wasn't it? That was
Yeah.
early 2025 where he said about pauses. So his attitude certainly changed, but then, you know, the body language, I think I've said before, the body language when they were promoting season 2 from season 1, it was felt like a wake when they were talking about the show. There
Yeah.
wasn't the excitement like they had in season 1, purely because they'd seen the ratings had tanked and the general public had rejected what they'd put out. And they thought, hang on a minute, it's going to be the same again because we filmed them together. So that was it. But I think from what Dwayne has said there, and Dwayne, I trust you because you've got very good connections and round this big earth. So I would say certainly with what you're saying there earlier in the year could well be the case then.
So, well, yeah, and just to kind of widen it, people have started hearing various things. My source had heard certain things, which I found fascinating after what I'd heard from various people, and Dwayne had heard things, and you think, right, okay then, okay, mine's a media producer. Isn't a fan who meets in a pub and talks about stuff. So, hold on a minute. There has to be something going on here. And then I look at the timelines and then I look at quotes being changed. He must have just been, oh, yes, and we're doing series 3 soon. And, and then all of a sudden the BBC at the top are going, whoa, whoa, whoa. We're talking to the Disney about disaster happening and them leaving. And hold on, cut, because they hadn't told him. He wasn't in the plan. I think they'd already decided he's not in the game. That's the issue. Now, there may be reasons why they thought they had to dump their main lead. And that's what I'm going to come to soon. So there you go.
So could it be a situation of he was fired, but it was disguised as he was just stepping down, much like how everything else, like Johnny Depp example sort of thing, when he was made to leave Fantastic Beasts.
I think that's the way the media lovies do it, isn't it, Rachel? They like to.
Oh, they're lovely.
I was told Russell T Davies had been sacked, but the point is they will give him a chance to look as though he's just moved on to another project.
And then quietly cancelled. That's normally how they do it. You just drift away. The articles aren't written about you anymore. It's as if you never existed after a certain point.
Yeah. He's going over to ITV, isn't it? Tiptoe or something.
Yes.
Oh, Channel 4, yeah.
Is it Channel 4?
Yeah.
This is the bit, everybody, in the thread, wondering if Brendan just does tease. Linked with this quote. So the start of it is, I heard it from the media, says my source, and executives in the room, that there were challenges with the talent. Read into that what you want. They didn't put Millie in many scenes with Ncuti. This is what I've heard from people. Now, let me just remind you, my source, a media producer, does not talk about Doctor Who because he knows it kills the room and they'll lose respect for him as a producer if he mentions he's a fan. So he never mentions Doctor Who. He was in a room where other media producers in the loop said this. Then his ears prick up. Then he asks questions. So in other words, there are rumours within TV circles that there were problems and challenges with the talent. The talent that thought he was filming series 3, but was never going to be given the chance.
Sorry, you go, Rachel. Yeah, you go for it.
Okay. No, all I was going to say is that's an interesting observation because one thing that I noticed was that he did a lot more scenes with Farada than he did with Millie. That's what I noticed. And also their body language was different with each other compared to what
Yeah.
his body language was like with Verada, which made me question, did something happen? And then there was all this stuff with the son and the fact that Millie could not respond to any of that because of her NDA. So makes you wonder. Anyway, John, carry on.
No, yeah, it's fine. No, I was literally pretty much saying what you were saying, because I always remember, and I believe this because again, it's something I picked up on at the time when they did the promo photo for season 2, and it had Ncuti in the middle, Verada Sifa on one side, and then Millie Gibson on the other. When you talk about body language, if you look at Millie Gibson, she's actually moving her body away from Ncuti.
That's right. That was the photograph I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the one I always remembered, and I thought, yeah, from a body language perspective, there's something not right there. And again, when you go back to, we're talking about, bad attitude on set. If somebody's got a bad attitude, but yet, and again, playing devil's advocate, you're a Disney exec and you're seeing the first episodes come to you, and Millie Gibson is outperforming who is supposed to be your star actor, you would be pressing the alarm button very early on, wouldn't you?
I also heard, though, that part of the problem was how the dynamics were set up. She was carrying the show on her own before he joined. Then he joins, and it was part of how he joined, and suddenly he's the star and he gets on with it. But diva behavior, didn't really almost say thanks that she was carrying the. She's a young actress. She might be gifted, but she was holding a whole franchise up. It was really badly done here by the top execs. So she's holding the show together. She didn't know what she was doing with Doctor Who, and the main actor isn't in it. She was doing so much content. Then he arrives and he's the big act. That didn't help. I understand that caused friction. I want to say a few other things and see where people want to dive in on this one. I have been told by various sources, stuff like this. Actually, Gatwa was allegedly very unhappy with his opening scenes being in his underwear, and Disney weren't happy with that.
I wouldn't be surprised by that. I really wouldn't. Like no one was happy with it. So yeah, like I there was something about that particular scene. Someone, I can't remember who said it, but it might have been Ncuti himself. Actually, he turned up to the set and he had they had to choose, but David Tennant had chosen this part of the costume, so he was left with this part of the costume. And that to me would suggest that he wasn't happy with that. So I'm not surprised. I am not surprised, and I wouldn't be either.
For me, I don't know what you guys think, but mine is a lot simpler than that. I just think a certain person that was in charge of the show who fancied Ncuti wanted to see him in his underpants. And I made the distinction correctly. I said underpants so that me and Dwayne,
I understand what you mean now.
No, I'd say it's more likely that, John, but he was told to say the other. David had already chosen what he was going to wear.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So there you go. That's an example of where Ncuti was unhappy, actually, at how it was launched. I've mentioned that Millie Gibson and Ncuti possibly didn't really hit it off straight away. Go on, Doreen.
Yeah, just on the Millie thing, I'm just thinking back to where I was hearing things. Like I heard rumors, first of all, that Millie was behaving like a diva and she was sacked. So that's what came back to me first. And then a little bit of time passed and that changed. That changed to no, she wasn't sacked because she was a diva. She was sacked because Ncuti had some issues and things were maneuvered. So she, but the rumors were flying around that she was sacked, but it never officially was said anywhere. I think it might have been hinted in one of the newspapers, which sensationalized things a little bit, as you may have noticed. Yeah, that certainly it changed at one point, and I was hearing that it was Ncuti who was unhappy. I was hearing the same thing that you've already mentioned, Brendan, that he was unhappy with Millie and how good she was, basically, and that there was tension between them. So and Ncuti was maneuvering things to get her out of the way because obviously according to the showrunner, he was the favourite, not Millie so much. So that's what I was hearing at the
So
time.
it's an insecurity thing that caused that then, essentially.
Yeah,
With Ncuti.
yeah, and I'll come to that. There's a whole list here, but I'll do each section. The thread can join in, and obviously,
But then people were
Right.
also saying, "Oh no, she hasn't been sacked because she's
Yeah.
in the second season." But at the time that it had been said she'd been sacked, the second season had already been made. So there were obviously, and you can tell that she's, even though she's in a couple of episodes, she's hardly in any of it.
she was meant to be. My understanding was, because there's been rewrites all the way through. This has been an absolute disaster. She was meant to be, like, if you link it with Wish World, she was meant to be a god or something. She was meant to be something greater than a human. And so that's one of the problems, that if there's an issue with personnel, they had to rewrite that. And that's why she was then giving them a bit of a sop. So I'm hearing I've turned into Davros. I'm a nasty piece of work. This is basically, in normal English, this is when the panel just want to take over the show and ambush me, and they're lying. And my voice is brilliant, actually.
Can't wait, actually. Can't wait.
So
It's hard to
basically,
get a word in.
so I'll rush back. I'll see you all in a moment, but I'll leave that up there because that's where we're up to. So yeah.
Right, I've been a naughty girl on YouTube, so I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to get into trouble.
So, I mean, again, early on, if what you're saying then, Dwayne, quite early on, they were actually thinking, well, they wanted him gone. Does that then add credence to the rumors that are swirling around that Disney wanted out of the deal early on in season 1? Because the rumors
Yes.
are, aren't they, that Space Babies, as soon as they saw that, they wanted to end the deal. And it was just kept tidy, kept quiet until they announced it, a few weeks ago.
Well, you can kind of tell by the publicity that was going on in the States for Series 1.
Yeah.
Compare that to the publicity for Series 2, which was virtually non-existent.
Yeah.
And, as there was a podcast here in Australia, one of the fellas that I know was on the podcast, and he had heard from someone that he knows from Disney. And one of the issues with Disney was that they were hoping through Doctor Who to get a lot more subscriptions, which is what streamers are interested in. That's their bread and butter, subscriptions, but they want to retain them. And what they'd noticed about Doctor Who is they can sort of correlate subscriptions to a specific show, and they'd worked out that Doctor Who had got a certain number of subscriptions, and the retention rate they were going for at the end of Doctor Who was about 80%. They were hoping for an 80% retention rate, and what they ended up getting was around 30%. So their retention rate was far, far less than what they expected for their investment.
That's bad.
And if you're in business, it comes down to the bottom line.
Yeah.
And if that retention rate was, I was just saying, Brendan, that Disney's expected retention rate on Series 1 was 80% on new subscriptions because of Doctor Who, but it turned out to be about 30. And so they were unhappy right from the start because of that. They could see that fans didn't like this thing.
Yeah.
What I want to do is I'm going to be the living embodiment of the Ncuti Gatwa Millie Gibson dynamic. You've been the warm-up act, and I've now come on, and I'm sorry, but I want you sacked. I want you out of the way.
Yeah.
So it's stealing thunder from someone, isn't it? Don't rain on somebody else's parade.
Well, actually, while I was gone, the views went up. So
really? That's because I kept my mouth shut.
Yeah, we're almost hitting that Disney 40%, 50% level right now.
Yeah, thank you, Thread. If I go again, do I bump up the numbers and move them up? Honestly, I give up. Um, so, yes, I know my place. Humility.
I'm
So,
just buying views every time you go, mate. That's what I'm doing.
I tell you what, I'll have
Agree.
the most amazing super chat dynamic. Super chats to get rid of me. Go on, So, I'll continue with the allegations. Gatwa allegedly didn't enjoy filming and would stay in his trailer and was
Yeah.
caught on multiple occasions laughing about the quality of the scripts.
Oh.
Wow, that is exactly what I heard as well.
Mhm.
I heard that he would be such a diva when it came to dealing with certain directors, and he would like refuse to come out of his trailer. So yeah, he's very, very difficult to work with. People who I know have worked on set with him. The atmosphere when he wasn't around was just like any other set, was fantastic, great place to work. But as soon as he walked on, the atmosphere just changed completely to the negative, and everyone was miserable when he was around. I say
Wow.
everyone, but there was an atmosphere when he walked on set which was not there when he wasn't around. So,
Well,
that kind of tension when Millie was there holding the show, of course it was going to, potentially, if he cottoned onto that, he would have got a sense of, oh no, she's too big for her boots, let's get her out.
well, an interesting thing I heard as well, and a similar thing about what you've just said is, I've heard talk recently about Steven Spielberg and Rachel Zegler, and how
So well.
Rachel Zegler was very, very difficult to work with, and
I heard that.
Spielberg had enough. So what Spielberg did, he didn't go and sort of slag her off publicly. He just quietly put the word out to
Yeah.
other production studios, basically, don't work with her. She's bad news. And they slowly just they cancelled the jobs that they had her to coming in to do. And again, the person I was listening to was saying that's what they do in Hollywood.
Yeah.
They don't come out and publicly say this person's been cancelled. They cancel the jobs that are the parts they're going to have,
It's
and then
Chinese
they
whispers.
quietly disappear. Variety and Deadline are told not to report on them, and that's it. That's the curtains for them. And I think the same will happen with Ncuti, because if this attitude is as bad as we're talking about, you're telling me that there's not going to be people within the BBC or Bad Wolf that are going to be quietly leaking to other studios. You might want to steer clear of this guy.
Mind
He's
you,
trouble.
isn't this fascinating? Because don't we agree with Shooty that the scripts are crap?
Yeah.
Don't we agree with him?
I wouldn't come out of my trailer, to be honest with you, if I had to perform that.
I hadn't heard his opinion on the scripts. I had heard about his going into his trailer and not being easy to work with. I had heard that, but not the scripts. So that's interesting.
Obviously, we
That's
haven't got
true.
Shooty on the channel, and I will keep saying allegedly, poor soul. He can't defend himself when he's not here. But
Yeah.
this is. I'm not saying an anecdote I've heard from one person. I've heard then confirmed by other people who don't know each other. And if it was all just fans, I wouldn't do it either. But it's fans sometimes. Other times it's media producers. Other time, oh, sorry, hold on. So I'm only mentioning things that seem to kind of coalesce. So that's another one. So of course I'll repeat. That's why I'm saying, was he therefore sacked? He was laughing at his boss's scripts. Not a good move. I don't think RTD would want him around after that. So,
Babes, you want me to read Space Babies?
I'd have been sacked in a heartbeat. I'd have laughed at those scripts as well.
And look at his first one, Space Babies. What? What? You'd want me to talk to babies about bogeymen? Oh my God. John Pertwee had fun. Why are you doing this to me? So there's an element where I feel sympathy for Shooty. He's come off Sex Education, well written, good team and all the rest of it. And he comes on to this kind of baby show. He must have thought, what am I doing? My agents have got me in the wrong place here. So he stays in his trailer in a right huff thinking, I wish I had stayed at Sex Education.
And the thing is, it's not like he hasn't got things he can compare it to. He's got Sex Education. He's got the Barbie movie, which was really successful. And then he's also done The Importance of Being Earnest. He's got this new play going out. They're all really well-written things. I've not seen Sex Education, but I've seen him in other stuff. And he does a lot better when it's well-written.
When it comes to his performance, though, Sex Education, like he was born probably to play that role, but he played the same kind of character in Doctor Who as in Sex Education to a degree.
Yeah.
And I was talking with someone recently who went over from Australia to the UK and saw him in The Importance of Being Earnest. And we asked, what was it? Did you enjoy it? He said, oh, yeah, I enjoyed it. What was Ncuti like in it? Yeah, he was great.
Mm.
Oh, was he a
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
fine thespian? No, he was Ncuti. He was just playing it like Ncuti, just like he plays everything.
It's like people say Peter
But he
Davison
enjoyed
is just
that.
Peter Davison, isn't it? But yeah,
I
yeah,
think
I
Peter's got
understand
a
what
bit
you
more
mean.
range than Ncuti,
Yeah,
but
I,
yeah.
I, I, I would say so. But yeah, no, but he was good in The Importance of Being Earnest. I actually think he's better when he's rehearsed, personally. That's just
Yeah,
what I
well,
think.
and when he's better directed.
Yeah, that too.
And actually, let's face it, Oscar Wilde has written a script and people understand their roles. When it comes to Doctor Who, the difficulty is if you've got a showrunner saying, I'll adapt my scripts according to what I see in the rushes, that's hardly giving Ncuti direction. That's kind of saying, if you say babes, I'm going to have babes in every script afterwards. If you cry, I'll do more cry. You can imagine every move you make, RTD's going to go, love it, babes, I'll put that in. No, can you please tell me, do you want me to play it as an alien? How do you want? No, you do it how you want.
See,
That's not helping.
that kind of
It's
work
because
doesn't work.
they
They're not
weren't
allowed to
interested
do it.
in a character when it came to the last two Doctors. They were interested in an identity. The character was secondary, in addition
Yes.
to the identity, which was first and foremost, and
Mm.
that's why both of the last two Doctors have been an abject failure as far as storytelling go, and most of the fans go.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yep.
Farsight, I know where you stand on this era, but thank you. Imagine what Tom Baker would have made of them. The scripts, you mean? Oh, I mean, Tom Baker went mad about the scripts he got in the 70s, and we look at them now as classics. So
Tom Baker also used to say that Doctor Who was a part where no one could fail, and he has been proven completely wrong.
Yeah.
On that stand.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, again, they will go down, and I'll include Chibnall in this as well, and Jodie Whittaker, but Ncuti and RTD will go down as, and those teams of arguably ruining and destroying Doctor Who, something that was beloved by so many people because of how much they attempted to change it.
Honestly,
and
at
how
the
much, and how much the activism was thrown into it, and how much they you know, it was almost like they were patting each other on the backs when they were doing the next controversial comment they wanted to say out to the press. And then lo and behold, somebody with some sense gets them into a room and gets them to do almost like a hostage video a week before the season's airing to basically go, we just want to say we love all you fans very, very much. We really do. And it's like, yeah, nobody believes a word you're talking about. But one thing I will say, okay, I know it's a shooty show, but I just want to quickly jump in and say, right, okay, let's look at the producers that have been involved. Okay, so we've got the alleged controversy with Christopher Eccleston, who and what he said on stage. Okay, we've got the alleged incidents with John Barrowman. We've then got an issue with Ncuti Gatwa. And controversial and behind the scenes issues that are going on. Now, at any sensible and grown up studio, you would expect somebody to be basically saying to this team, we're going to have to put someone, if you're doing this, we're going to have to put someone in charge of you, because you clearly cannot be trusted to run your production professionally. And again, that's not one incident, that's several incidents I've described there. But yet they still keep getting a go at the game, don't they? It's staggering.
It's funny what you mentioned there, John, because it seems to be RTD eras that all seem to be called into question. And I know we obviously question a lot of what Chibnall did, but nothing like, we don't hear anything really like what we've heard with RTD's era, and didn't hear anything about Moffat either. At least I don't recall we didn't, did we? So
So that's why we're
Says a
talking
lot.
about, was Ncuti sacked? Was he pushed? So I'll remind you again as our theme. And this is your thank you earlier, Farsight. You're not going to thank me for showing it, but this is my thank you to you.
Give me the loving.
Now give me love.
Access denied.
Thanks to Garbage for giving me some garbage AI there. Thank you very much.
Why do you have to do that to me? You know I don't want to see flipping Ministry of Shooty.
Play
I
it again.
needed, I
Play it
needed
again.
to do I needed to do a Ncuti show to use that one more time before it's in the bin.
Just one more grand finale. Go on.
So, the allegations continue. Is everybody enjoying this? Oh gosh, well, we've heard the allegations of him smoking on set and in front of kids, and therefore was told off for that. Allegedly, that he was seen as unprofessional behaviour. It's not a sackable offence, but it's just like, please, you're supposed to be a role model.
Yeah.
You hear from Tom Baker and various other actors who said, they're smoked as well, but they were careful when they did it, didn't do it in costume, didn't do it in front of kids, blah, blah, blah. They were very aware of their role. Everybody who slags off William Hartnell, by the way, William Hartnell was very aware of his role, even when it wasn't established what a lead actor should do with Doctor Who. He set that template. He was brilliant with kids. So yeah, interesting, isn't it? So there's that one. And then, of course, Millie Gibson wasn't too happy filming for the first few weeks on her own before Gatwa was free to film due to commitments on sex education, and this caused a great deal of problems. She didn't get along with the executives, and things deteriorated quite rapidly, leading to her reduced role in season 2. So there was an awful lot of things going wrong. She was carrying the show. She didn't feel supported. Oh dear. Billy Piper, Chris Eccleston, the people in the background there, as we said, it's the same pattern again.
It's like they didn't think it through though, because she's, how old is she? Not very old at all, is she?
was
She wouldn't have been
19,
there.
wasn't she?
She left Coronation Street. Her only experience of filming was a soap, where when they film a soap, they film one angle, and a panning shot at the same time. So she's used to churning out these TV episodes back to back on a very quick basis. The turnaround is something like, I don't know, 3 months in advance or something ridiculous like that. And so then she comes into this different situation which she's never experienced before, but where the filming is completely different, where you'll film up one side and then switch to the other, and then you film at this angle. It all takes a lot longer. She's not used to this pace. So she won't feel supported in that situation. That's completely alien to her. She won't understand it.
No?
She will
And
now, but wouldn't have done then.
And then the last kind of area of attack or criticism of Ncuti, according to anecdote and various people coalescing, is about how he spoke, how he behaved, maybe what he was up to, how he presented on set the next day, which was seen as unprofessional and ill-prepared, arguing with producers, rude to co-stars, getting crew fired, couldn't always remember all his lines, frequently late to set. In element, call it unprofessional. That's the allegation. He's not here to defend himself, but I've heard that from a few different sources, some very high up, some fans. The mixture.
If this is true, I'm surprised he didn't get. If it's true, I'm surprised he didn't get issued with a fine, and everything changed a lot sooner than that.
You see, who knows? I got the impression from the Chris Eccleston era, Russell T Davies might be many things. He's not a showrunner. He's not very good at managing. He kind of lets it, a bullying atmosphere sometimes develops, etc., etc. He might not be aware of it. He might sometimes cause a lot of pressure himself, because remember, he wrote lots of last minute redrafts, puts pressure on everybody. And in that first filming block in 2005, they were all under pressure. They really didn't know what they were doing, and nobody had made British sci-fi for years. And he wasn't helping. He was just expecting it to happen. He's not a showrunner in that way. The sad thing is, he doesn't seem to have learned much in man management in the second era, young woman again. The timings, as we said, are all wrong. I think that was an extremely unhelpful start for her. Was she feeling supported? And when the main man comes in, he's never been a lead before. So was he given any leadership? And when you hear some of these anecdotes, you're going, well, he needed pulling in line. You hear about Noel Clarke, you hear about John Barrowman. So why was he pulled in line? So
well, I think it's the same thing as like the the Barrowman allegations, and he was on the Inside of You podcast not too long ago, and he said a similar thing. He said, "Do you know what? When I was doing that filming and I had to be naked, they gave us an outfit so we weren't nude, but he said it was just easier. Instead of me walking all the way back to the trailer, I just used to stay there." And he said, "But yet, do you know what? At the time," he said, "all the producers came down for those scenes. All the producers had no problem with me doing it at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and yet all of a sudden they're all quiet now." And I get the same feeling now with the Shooty thing because, again, allegedly a certain producer of the show was infatuated by Shooty. That whole management again goes out the window because emotions override
do you think,
done.
John? Do you think? I mean, fans say this all the time. We say it a lot. Should we push back on that? Because there's no evidence. People are just saying. I mean, as a gay man, I'm going to have to say because RTD's a gay man and it happens to be the first ever gay actor, and people are saying how they're thick as thieves on the BAFTA red carpet. I suppose should I push back a bit, John, and say why are we saying, well, it's because he's infatuated with him, blah blah blah? Because we see it in our thread, we see it on other streams. People say it, and you're going, is it just because it's two gay men? Are we going?
It's not. No, it's not. It's not because it's two gay men. I would say the same thing if it was a man infatuated with a woman on set, or a woman infatuated with a man on set. But what I'm drilling down to is the fact there seems to be that flaw in the management and the supervisory mindset of I need to do my job first and I need to switch that off. Or if I'm not capable of switching it off, then people around me need to make sure that I'm kept in line myself as a producer, not just Shooty. And again, this goes to Jane Tranter and it goes to Julie Gardner as well, because for all of this, don't forget, they've been there as well. So it's not just RTD's doing this, that Shooty should have been pulled in line. If RTD wasn't doing it, it should have been one of them that was coming in and doing it, or one of their subordinates that were taking them aside and saying, "You're out of order. Your attitude's got to change. This is the contract you signed. Here's your first strike." That's how it should work.
It's how it, yeah. I mean, Jason G here, for example, your opinion, psychical controversy, first era RTD, and this one, seemingly lewd, sexually inappropriate bullying behavior, and Disney, a family company, don't want to be associated with it. There's an awful lot of things that are unhappy with this era, aren't there? Whether Shooty was unhappy and left, or whether they were unhappy with Shooty and he was pushed, whether RTD was pushed, and whether Disney ran before they got too incriminated in this. It's an unhappiness all the way through. We can get so far to the conclusion, but I can see what you mean, Jason. Michael Nemo, good to see you. You normally come on our daytime ones, don't you? Super chat. It must be a special kind of soul sucking to be an actor and feel contempt for the material, to feel locked in a contract and have to memorize crap. Well, is it ever thus, Rachel? You must have had roles where you're thinking, well, I'm getting paid or I'm on the stage, but it's not the part I want.
Yeah, pretty much. That's normally the way it goes, but you just get on with it and you do as you're told. Because if you don't draw the line, then well, A, you could get fired, but B, also you can get fined for doing that.
Yeah,
you could be issued a fine. They do that.
And I suppose if you're a jobbing actor, you take the crud with the quality, or you
Yeah,
take a
you
lot of
do.
crud, hoping you'll get quality one day.
Yeah,
And
you
let's
do.
be honest, Ncuti Gatwa was treating Doctor Who like a stepping stone. This was not his final destination. This
No.
wasn't like his Kin Lear at the end of a long career. No, it wasn't. This was stepping stone to Hollywood. We all know.
But that's what I said earlier. You know, I don't think we're now in an era where, you know, you'll get exceptions to the rule, but we've got a lot of people now that if they did get the role, they don't see it as great, I've landed Doctor Who. They see it as you said, and as I said earlier, a stepping stone to Hollywood or something bigger. That's just their mindset now. There are, as I say, there are exceptions to that, but it'll be even worse now because you also have agents going, if you go and do that, that could damage you.
It's because
That's
they've
where we are.
seen the success of David Tennant. David Tennant went on and did fantastic after he left Doctor Who. He's done Netflix. No, not Netflix. He's done Good Omens. What am I talking about? He's done
Marvel.
He's done Marvel. He's done Hollywood. He's done Harry Potter. So he's gone on. He's done big things. Matt Smith's been pretty successful. Capaldi's gone along very nicely. So they've all gone, well, if they can do that, then, and Doctor Who is the biggest cause of that, then we'll use that as a stepping stone into that. Sad, really.
Well, let's just kind of remind us of how it all started on this great show. And this is my thank you to you, Michael Nemo, at the same time, while we take a pregnant pause and then we come back and move the discussion on. Tales of the Turdis, I call it.
Lucky there was no fog. I'd never have found this.
I suppose we are doing the right thing, aren't we?
Stinks, Brilliant, not me walking, always a fallout, a fury from the deep.
Where's the Turdis Dumpus this time?
Feels familiar. Very casual, Grandad.
I can't stand this. I'm having a breakdown. This has been one of the worst days of the week. The Sense Sphere. I want it shut down now. I don't like their opinions. They don't realise I'm Russell T. Davis. Russell T.
When I say run, run! Where are we? Keep your eyes peeled. I have a nasty feeling. It's a bit of tack, Grandad. It's an antique. You're becoming millionaires. Let's rummage around and let's see what else we can source.
You mean Nick? I'm going to tell Gran.
I'll just say I was looking for the G-spot.
This is a massive warehouse of scrap.
This is what me and your Gran used to think was modern.
Look at this. And this. Oh, it stinks.
Watch what you're throwing.
It's like a repair shop in here.
Your Gran has something like this in a drawer. It's got frequencies. The Welsh rim bag. He's
the
found
only,
us.
the Alpha, the Omega, and everything in between. Honest to God, the Saviour, the Christ of Doctor Who. Without me, there would be no excitement, no wildness, no humour, no...
There you go. Can't make those without the great AI from Garbage Who and the great voice from Jack. Both of them great contributors, and it's a bit of fun. And it's nice to edit in a Barbara and Ian from the beginning there as well. So there you go, a nice mixture of stuff there. That's how it all began. I think I remember one of the doctors saying that. Was it the 5 doctors? So remember the official excuses. I'm getting old and tired. He actually said that. I mean, as soon as somebody says something that's so basically and patently untrue, you have to think, well, what is the truth then? So yes, I'm getting old and tired. I mean, I had to wrestle with myself before I left the part. That tells us he had no wrestling to do at all and he was getting pushed. Come on, we're all cynic. We know the score. None of this is true. He's young and he had no choice. That's what he's saying. So I just want to throw my cynicism in there. Anyway, Duane, am I being too cynical?
Oh, come on. He did have bad knees, though, didn't he?
Pretty epic jump that he did in that stage play then after.
That's the thing, isn't it? That's the thing.
Well, I hope he's still getting his ballet lessons anyway.
Oh, well, it took such a physical, emotional, mental toll, the role. Now, I've heard that from, well, Matt Smith didn't say all that. Peter Capaldi, Matt Smith, a few of them have said it's quite a physical role nowadays, but I don't know. I think they're moaning about being in Cardiff for so long for the year, I think is the main issue. That's what my source says. He says they don't want to be in Cardiff for 10 months a year. They really don't.
Well, do you think they should actually move it back to London?
Yeah.
I think they should too.
Yeah.
But will Bad Wolf allow that? No, because they've made a fiefdom in Cardiff.
Well, it's either that or they move it down to sort of like my neck of the woods and then I could audition. But as long as Russell T Davies doesn't have anything to do with it, we're grand.
I just think they got too much power there. Really, I think if you move it to London, I wouldn't
London will
want
be
it going to
better.
Media City. London would be good, but I think you need to have not only move back to London, but some sensible people looking after it. And I don't think we're going to get that.
It'll be cheaper for them to have it in London as well, because quite often the production companies, because they're asking actors to uproot, they have to do subsidies. So that's quite expensive. It can be. I mean, like the last thing that I did production-wise where there was a subsidy made, they paid like 300 or quid to get me there and back. So it wasn't cheap.
Yeah. But yeah, it's all expenses, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
mad. But can I just say, John, I'll just throw this in so everybody's reminded. We've said the anecdotes, we've said the allegations unsubstantiated. We've said the timelines are weird. We've said that Disney aren't happy, and we've said the Graham Norton edit. We're pulling it all together. Then he goes on BBC One, and he was asked, why did you walk away from Doctor Who? Good question, Laura Kunsberg. Because I'm getting older, my body was tired. I've now just started doing some ballet, so I'm making some good decisions there. Yeah, because he realised he had that blooming top on, which makes everything he just said a lie. In other words, he didn't respect to tell us the truth. Now, why would he not tell us the truth? Is that an NDA?
NDA.
There you go. But unfortunately, was he maybe not bright enough or not briefed enough to come out with something that was half cogent and sensible? So I'll just finish this off, John. It's the most amazing job in the world. So why have you know what I mean? This has been my favourite job and I've left. That makes no sense. It's a job that any actor would dream of. That's why I've left. And because it's so good, it's strenuous, it takes a lot out of you. Do you see what I mean? It is so blatantly false that you go, so why aren't you telling us anything closer to the truth, John?
Yeah, I agree. The question I had was, for anybody that has watched Sex Education, I didn't watch it, but did that show end, or is it kind of like it just finished and it could come back in the future? Because I'd be interested to see what his statement would be or was about getting the doctor role and also stepping away from Sex Education. Did he say he was getting too old for that? I bet you he's never said that once about Sex Education. So again, it all
wasn't he doing dancing in Barbie?
Yeah,
with the same knees.
Exactly. So it's all waffle, isn't it?
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I just realised what you asked.
Yeah, so this is what I mean. It's just so blatantly stupid to say that you just not want to tell us the truth. Why don't you want to tell us the truth? We know some context that looks a little bit dodgy for you, so why aren't you telling us the truth? Is it because you don't want to publicly say, or you can't publicly say, you were bloody well pushed? You were sacked because you were a dud.
The thing is, if he can say that, then the BBC and Bad Wolf will think it will look bad on them, which is why they don't say it. But in actual, yeah.
No, sorry, I'm going to come back to you. Isn't it so unfair, these NDAs now? It's so obvious and transparent about what happened to Colin Baker. He can't be hidden behind an NDA, bless him.
No, it was very obvious. Mind you, I won't remember it, but it was very obvious. When I look back and read everything and hear them talk about it and stuff, it was blatantly obvious what they were doing. But yeah. And it's just ridiculous, really.
And it's the context now, though, isn't it, Rachel? Though, isn't it? Which is Colin Baker. We know he was basically pushed. William Hartnell. We know he was pushed. There's no NDAs in those days. You just had to front it out.
But
meanwhile,
the thing is, right? Okay, these production companies should actually be honest. If he's been fired, you need to tell us that. Be very clear that he's been fired. But the thing is, if they say that at the same time, that could create problems for him further down the line, you know, with other jobs.
The thing at the time with Colin Baker being sacked, it was out there in the newspapers. It was front and center. Everyone knew that he'd been sacked. the thing is that the newspapers, the media have been pushing this identity thing for so long. He's the first gay black actor to play the Doctor. If they came out and said he was sacked now, then can you imagine
Racism.
the accusations of racism and bigotry of one sort or another? It's not as simple as it was back in the 80s. Sometimes I like the 80s a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah,
Were they good? Were they?
It's a
They
it's a
were.
damn good
They
point,
were.
Wayne, actually. It's a damn good point because my source does go on about that. He says you can't erase an era of Doctor Who because how can the BBC dare erase the Black Doctor's era or the first female Doctor's era? They just can't countenance it. So it is a tricky one, and what you've just said it rings a lot of truth as well. And I've been mentioning my source. I've quoted him, so I should actually just play him out for a second while I have a cup of tea.
Decipher.
And it's important I also say, get well soon source, because the source is not too good at the moment either. So
get well
yeah,
soon, saucy applesauce. Get well
yeah,
soon.
he's been on the sauce. The sauce has been on the sauce, and this is in big doo doo. So
yeah, he's drinking, all the time, isn't he? You know, I've seen him.
Well, I have him
Crazy.
locked in
Get
my
well soon, mate.
basement. It's because I have him locked in my basement. It's a hard life. And all I do is I feed him once he gives me some source material. So what did
If he's in America, there'd be a lot to catch up on.
Oh, blooming heck. What is he like? That's not bad for 6 a.m, is it? That. So, what did RTD say about Ncuti's exit? Oh, excuse me. I'll have to rephrase that. About Ncuti departing. Right. Okay. Part of the job. That's what happens, darling.
Oh, that's so rude.
I know.
That is so rude.
I didn't mean to. It was an accident. I'm not like that. It's like a springboard that's sure. And let's face it, it's been happening since '66 when William Hartnell was ill. Tom Baker was such an extraordinary actor, fitting such an extraordinary part. It's a once-in-a-lifetime miracle. So basically, blather. Again, no truth from RTD. In fact, he deflects by just waffling some historical crap.
Part of the job. That's what happens. Oh, well.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's interesting, in the classic era, the only doctors who did not leave in a controversial way would had to have been Peter Davison and maybe Troughton. There was a bit of controversy around Troughton as well because the ratings were so bad, so it was almost cancelled then. So I think Peter Davison's probably the only one that left without some bit of controversy around him.
I was just thinking, what was Pertwee? But Pertwee was Delgado dying, wasn't it?
He wanted a bit more money, I think, is the story.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, he was successful.
Sylv was gunned down in a back street in San Francisco, so you can't go out any worse than that.
Actually,
that's true. He was.
That's the shame of what you've said about Peter Davison and that actually I hate it when an actor says they're going to stay for 3 years and then leave. Not whatever. I hate that in Doctor Who. The trouble is, though, it preserves their career. Actually,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Peter Davison left because of bad scripts.
Yeah,
and actually, probably the best decision he ever made.
Yeah, I think so. And the zero's all right. I don't mind it.
Yeah. Now, Jason G has got a question here. I'll come to Rachel first. I mean, I'm assuming she's kind of reading the stage all the time and all the rest of it for some reason.
No.
Jason says, do we know if Ncuti's any future TV or film roles upcoming? As theatres is only temporary. Is this example like Eccleston? Ncuti has been frozen out by RTD. Bad Wolf spreading the word about him being difficult. So,
he has got one coming up. Sorry, Rachel, you carry on. Sorry.
Yeah. Hi, Rachel. He has got one coming up, has he? Because I actually didn't know. I know he's doing that Marlowe thing. That was the only one that I knew about. And is that currently and that might have even been finished by now, but,
Garbage,
yeah.
who has put that? Thank you, Garbage. He's
That's it.
voicing yeah.
Okay. Is that it?
Animated musical Bad Fairies. I mean, you can't
Okay.
make this up. With Cynthia. I mean, honestly,
Oh god.
Penny just dropped.
yeah, honestly,
Oh,
this
they
is
better not get
terrible
all weird with each
stereotyping.
other.
Did they
Oh,
ever
flipping
play a
hell.
butch straight man at any point? Anyway, and he's popped in the comedy The Roses, yes. But that's
Well, we'll see whether or not he's been blacklisted from the BBC or not, because depending on what he does over the years, I mean, like Colin Baker didn't return to the BBC until like 1993, I think it was, or 1994. Don't quote me on that. So he didn't go back for a long time. So we will see. We will see. But if he's got things in the pipeline, then good for him. That's good. Hopefully, whatever's happened isn't going to affect him finding work.
All I will
And
say,
that's me
guys,
being nice.
yeah, all I will say, guys, is I foresee a very regular Comic-Con circuit for him over the next few years. That's what I'll say about his career and how well it's going to go. He may well be doing photo shoots on a regular basis.
he's going to have to be careful, isn't he, that he doesn't rub people up the wrong way regarding producers and that. He's going to have to be very careful. It's I mean, if it's half true, some of those allegations, like laughing at scripts and all the rest of it and disrespecting it. Come on, you can imagine if you get some panto run, you've got some crud. You know, you're going to go. If I come to this, remember, everybody slags off William Hartnell. You know that one little clip he'd finished Doctor Who, and he was doing panto, and he said, what did he say? It wasn't that I'm an established actor. He kind of hinted that he had longevity, and it was like,
I'm a character actor.
yeah,
Yeah.
and everybody kind of has. In fact, remember David Tennant made that documentary about a year or so back, talking Doctor Who or something, and he actually mocked William Hartnell saying that, and you know it's allowed. Yeah, William Hartnell's dead, bless him, and we can mock him for saying I'm an established actor, but you know this is a bit below me. This, you know, yeah, and
Actually, I think his exact words were, "I'm a proper character actor."
Yes.
Because he really didn't want to be in that pantomime. It was obvious in that interview. He didn't want to be there, but he was doing it because, you know, that was the stepping stone to the next thing. But yeah, he was a proper character actor, he said.
So how close is that to maybe Ncuti laughing at the scripts?
Oh, sorry, that I was going to go off on a tangent there.
You can.
There's nothing to do with scripts. I was just going to say, I personally don't think that Ncuti is a character actor. You need a character actor to play the Doctor.
He has one character. Ncuti has one character. That's it.
Yeah, he would
plays
have been
that character in everything.
He'd have been better in Carry On movies, you know, where basically the Carry On actor plays the same part in every Carry On movie. And Ncuti could have just been himself in every Carry On movie. But yeah, you need a character actor, somebody like Patrick Troughton who can do all the different voices, twist his face, quirky character. Look at John Pertwee again. That's what
Sylvester McCoy.
Yeah. Oram, good to see you. Ncuti got a lot of leading roles in theatre off the back of Doctor Who. He had at most one line of dialogue in a Barbie movie. For all the hype, he had a chorus line role.
He'd been paid well for that.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Well. And he went back to the Oscars because of that, didn't he? So
he did.
A bit more of the context. In the Mirror, Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor Who future in doubt after the showrunner's shock comments. The shock comments were suddenly screeching of brakes. Disney, it's not that easy. We're going to have to wait. We won't be filming January 2025. Now, this is when everybody can pick their own kind of horse here. Are you still riding the horse that Ncuti was pushed? Or are we back in the horse that actually Ncuti and his agent said, hold on a minute, we are not waiting around for all this mush to be sorted out. It's toxic enough. The scripts are crap. Nah, we're out.
Could be either or, really. We won't really know until the NDA is up. I thought it was, he'd sat down with his agents and the agents have gone, get out of there. It's not worth it. But, you know, after hearing some of the things over the last few months that I've heard from various streams and the whatnot, I'm swaying more towards that he was pushed and made to step down.
Yeah.
because that's tidy. That's neat and tidy. Whether or not they'll play Chinese whispers, I don't know. We will see how that affects his career.
It's
Is
just,
that the same as being sacked, though?
yeah.
Well,
It's all word salad, isn't it?
it is
You
a
know.
word salad. Thing is, it takes one bad thing or someone saying one small thing to end someone's career in this type of industry, unfortunately. So it could happen.
Well, it's like the love letter to Doctor Who with Mark Gatiss. It's quite clear. We all know about William Hartnell. He had no choice. So then they let him save face slightly by saying it's Patrick Troughton or have you got a choice yourself, something like that. So he felt as though he had some ownership of being kicked out. That's how it works. Yeah, you never get.
But you see, it's okay to blacklist Christopher Eccleston, but it's not okay to blacklist Ncuti, which I don't understand.
Yeah,
You
no.
know, if he's as bad as that, well, then why not blacklist him?
We'll see if it happens.
Eccleston
side.
suffered work-wise for years because of what happened, and he was reasonably well. He might have been under NDA, so he didn't say much until recently. But that was completely unfair from what I believe, and
he's an
I think
established
in
actor.
Shooty's case, it would be justified to a degree.
Now, Chris Eccleston had led so many shows by Doctor Who. He was an established, solid actor with a good pedigree, and yet he was still blacklisted. And yet, I take your point, Dwayne. It's just, yeah, they pick their fights nowadays, don't they? I'm sorry, it is
this era. It's a negative element of what I laughably call diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's only inclusion if they like you. Otherwise, it's discrimination. And that was what happened to Eccleston. Eccleston was blacklisted because they didn't like him. I don't know the ins and outs exactly of what went on behind the scenes. Dwayne, I'm sure you know a lot more than I do. But because he always does the git. This era, no. If that even got leaked out that Ncuti Gatwa was being sacked, you know what would be happening. There'd be big Twitter onslaught by the small minority that are very loud online, very vocal, and then they basically, a lot of these studios now, they fear that publicity and they kowtow to it, and that's why it's hushed up.
And this is the problem. I mean, Dwayne, welcome to the United Kingdom. All we seem to say every day today is two-tier. Everything's two-tier, double standards. It just seems to be, who are we talking about? That person gets sacked or blacklisted, that one you're not allowed to. That person goes to jail, that one you're not allowed to.
Yeah.
It just seems everything's kind of not consistent. And so whether Ncuti was pushed or not, this era did not work. And it's a lot of people are to blame. And here's another bit of evidence just to cheer you all up.
She's gonna say yes.
Who is?
Your girlfriend. When you ask her to marry you on Christmas Day.
How do you know?
So a sonic screwdriver just went ping in her pocket, which says engagement ring, and I'm guessing that she's a she, because 91% of men wouldn't choose a diamond. Plus Christmas Day couldn't wait, and that is why she loves you.
And you thought, yeah, I'll give that a go, babe.
Nothing hurts. Ta-da! Yeah, all the mass and density and mavity exists in the glove.
I mean,
so I'd never have to watch that again.
Well, I'm good on repeats, but who takes ownership for it? Clearly, RTD Scripts, but I didn't buy into the performance. I didn't buy into the characterization of the Doctor. I just didn't buy into any of this. And all we need is to find out that they misbehave or they're unprofessional. Out. Boomer Doug is only saying hi to the Aussie. That disgraceful Boomer Doug. How dare you, sin bin? Do you know
Hey,
what
Dougie.
Yeah, they look after their own, what they're like. Anyway, hello, Doug. But let's have a look. So remember, this I think this is late in the game, but I'm bringing it into the context, which is the Eurovision absence. This was May 2025, as I showed you. They edited him in October 2024 when he said he was in Series 3. So in other words, I think, and yeah, I think this is just kind of a neat way of a conspiracy theory. Remember on the left there, he advertised that he would be the kind of spokesperson for the UK jury in the May Eurovision Song Contest. And then suddenly there were things going on in the Middle East, something like that. And he's an activist. And so suddenly he didn't really want to be involved. But what he said to Laura Kunsberg was not that. Because we don't talk about the truth, do we, nowadays? We have to talk untruths. So Laura said there was some speculation, Ncuti, that because there was some controversy about Israel being part of the competition, and there was speculation that that's why you had decided not to take part, because you have been one of the many people who's expressed a lot of support for the Palestinians. Was that part of your reasoning? Oh, no, no, no. I was just very busy. He was then asked if he had watched the Eurovision this year following his departure. I didn't know. I was busy. Can I just say the word again? I was busy. I was busy like a bee. I've been told I was busy. Have you got it now, Laura? I was busy. I mean, yeah, all right. So,
you don't get it there in just, if you read the words, you don't get it. But when you saw the way he delivered those lines, which is what they were lines, and he couldn't even make up something half intelligent. So, oh, no, I was busy. This blank look across his face. No, I was busy. You know, it was obviously a complete lie.
Yeah. And the irony is now that a few months on, and the BBC are caught in a major controversy again, not just with a certain person in the United States, but in the Middle East as well. Some things have been uncovered. So, just shows what an highly intelligent person he is as well, doesn't it?
Well,
didn't he receive backlash for being the spokesperson for the UK, which is why probably what prompted him to pull out?
The thing is,
am I wrong? I might be wrong.
Well, there's all the fuss. What I'd hate is everybody's ambushing sport and ambushing apparently musical events to make political points, and that needs to be separated. It gets silly. So yes, I suppose he was getting some criticism for apparently supporting Israel if he stood up and give some votes for just the UK jury. There was also, I think his agents might have pulled him saying, you are aware it's a good song this year. Because remember, he left on the Thursday and it was Saturday. So basically, when they saw that Israel was in the final and Israel might get 12 points, and he might have to stand up and say, Israel, 12 points, that wasn't a good look. And so suddenly he had a bad knee.
Sorry, Sophie Ellis-Bextor was the correct person to do that one anyway. I always wondered why on earth he was going to do it. It made no sense to me.
I will say though that this does add to what you guys were saying about the fact that he does have a bad attitude problem, because just this away from the Doctor Who production, yes, he was going in there to promote the episode, but again, the controversy followed him to here. Whether he did it or he didn't, the controversy followed him. So normally in life, if that continues to happen, there's a pattern, isn't there, to something is going on behind the scenes. So it speaks to me that he has got a pretty bad attitude problem.
Well, the other attitude thing is, and this is down to the BBC have allowed their employees to start being very political. Gary Lineker and everybody. And this has been the problem. So he, he's allowed to be political in another way, but he's Doctor Who, and it's a bit dangerous when it's a family show. Anyway, that's bold. I've got arguments in the thread because I only said hello to Doug, although Doug said hello to Dwayne, and of course Cybermat Strikes Dan has been there all along, and I haven't said hello to him. So I'm in the bad books. So Julie's unsubscribed. No, I mean, they're all kicking off. These Australians, they're going to be demanding a detox before the end of this show. You can tell now. So hello, everybody, and good morning, Australia. I've had enough after 3 so-called specials, says Paul Clark. Tennant did himself no favours with feckless way he turned it in and sat around the tea table. And as for insulting the fans who pays wages. And this is such a shame, isn't it? This whole era has been poisoned with politics, with knowing what RTD thinks, Ncuti thinks, David Tennant thinks. It's a shame. There's nothing wrong with them having their political views, but it all seems to have kind of poisoned the Doctor Who brand.
It's when they attach it to the show.
Yeah.
That's when it creates the biggest issue. I mean, I'm always a bit funny about actors having their opinions, but well, obviously they can have their opinions, but you know, in the way they voice them. But when it's away from the show, it's not so bad. But when they attach it to the show, that's when you start creating big problems. Because
The trouble,
and the views aren't attached. They're not attached in a way that makes them come across as views. It's attached in a way that you are wrong and I am right.
Yeah.
And that's what I loved about the Barry Letts and Terence Dicks era of Classic Who, because they were both at opposite ends of the political spectrum, and they both came together. And sometimes the stories would be Letts's views, and sometimes they would be Dicks's views. But they never said either one was wrong or right. They just expressed them. That doesn't happen anymore.
So you can have different opposing opinions and still be able to work together. You know,
yes.
Have you ever seen Mythbusters? The 2 lead hosts on that, they hate each other in real life, but look at yeah, they do. Yeah, but look at what they created. It was brilliant what they did.
Oh well, I'm sorry, but you can tell I'm there's a hitman on me now.
Am I?
So, Zach Whitten, Australian. Brendan, you need to watch out for the expat Aussies in the UK as well. We're coming for you, and the Who Pets. Oh my God.
Brendan's getting naughty on YouTube.
Oh, I'll never go to Ealing again. It's full of Aussies. Oh my God, I'm in danger. Right. I'll get the Who Pets onto it. Hold on. I'm on the run now.
You think the Cybermen will help you? I shall be their resurrector. Look! Their leader, their controller, Jamie. We need your power.
You belong to us. Release the Cybermans. Activate them.
So I've set the Who Pets Cybermats onto every Aussie in the UK now to save my skin, just to find me a few extra hours. So thank you for that. God, you watch back nowadays.
There were some Cybermat strikes in that one.
Yeah, no, he was all over the floor. Millie was good. Outshone Ncuti. RTD felt like Ncuti should have been better. Ncuti felt it should be felt it should have been a better opportunity. And I think the stories that come out will be figurative knives in the back. Oh, I'd buy that book though. But it's not going to be written, is it? It's not going to be written.
I think you should read that, Brendan, how it was written.
Cheeky devil. Jethrick, the scripts are often political, even in classic, but these were always confined to the story itself and woven into the narrative. Zach Whitten. I've got to read out every Aussie now, apparently, otherwise I'm a dead man. It's so stupid for actors to be very vocal about their political views because it means that 50% of the audience could potentially not like them anymore, e.g. Tennant. Now, another area of attack or context is this. And this was another reason given why he might have left.
The Aussies have slipped something into your drink,
Yeah,
Brendan.
it's happened. It's like From Russia with Love or something like this. So Ncuti's one of those who's got managers, he's got agents, he's got PR. I have heard that they bought themselves out of the contract because they wanted out. So I've got to give this version. It goes against my version. This is why sauce. As soon as Disney didn't renew, they went out and the contract was for much longer. In order to get out of that contract, they had to buy him out. So why? It was toxic. He wanted to get fashion contracts. That's why I've put that up. I'll move it on. Don't worry, everybody. People always tell me off.
It's the bad accident jumper that always makes me laugh in the top corner.
He could easily be a model, though. Ncuti can.
He could.
So as my source
Sadly,
said,
he was the doctor.
Ncuti wanted to do brand deals, but he was stopped. He couldn't make money. He needed to get out to make more money. That's part of what the argument is.
So, like,
can I tell you something else that I heard?
Okay.
Related to that Ncuti refused to do an interview for Doctor Who magazine because he asked for the circulation figures, and the figures, of course, are about 20,000. He said, "Why would I do an interview for that magazine? Only 20,000. I've got 1 million followers on TikTok." So this is the attitude coming through once again. So once again, that's a rumor, folks. I heard that.
To be fair, they got off easy there because if he'd done it, their circulation would have been down to about 10,000, I reckon.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to leave in the hands of an Australian, and I mean, here we go. So I'm going again. So I'm expecting the views to go up again. I'll see you in a more. I tell you what, when I watch this back and I find my voice was good, you're all sacked. No, okay. See you in a more.
His voice was good.
Did he think his mic had gone?
I don't know.
Someone in the chat just said about he was coughing. He's gone thinking his mic's gone. Yeah.
Shall we not tell him?
Oh, yeah.
Shall
Talk
we
about
not
a
tell him?
diva.
Let's just see if he watches his own streams back.
Oh, yeah. Brilliant. I'm going to wind him right up with this one now. Brilliant.
One of those things you won't live down.
Yeah.
But imagine that is something that I heard, that an RTD was trying to encourage him to do the interview for Doctor Who magazine. This is the magazine about the show. And he virtually refused to do it. So quite a diva-like response, if you ask me.
Again, though, I don't know what the contractual side of things are, but surely that would be a disciplinary matter because basically your job is to promote the show while you're contracted to act in the show. That's all part and parcel of it. So if you're not prepared to do that, right, okay.
I want a template of his contract now.
Yeah. Disciplinary. You got your first warning. If you continue to do it again, oh, okay. By the way, thank you very much. See you later. Might cause them a problem with production having to find someone else. But again, this just tells me that the people who were in charge are just not professionals. They really aren't if they allow this kind of nonsense to carry on. Sack everyone.
Now, you lot. John, you're sacked.
I got this image right of him going off screen thinking it's his mic, but I thought you were going to sort of take some night nurse or something, swig it down.
If everybody understands, I don't know what they bloody said while I was off. They're little. Do you know what? This is sabotage. There's me waltzing off, thinking, "Oh, my bloody mic again." Meanwhile, John just steals my thunder. Honestly, this is sabotage.
Where's he gone?
Yeah. John, you've got to remember, you're a rival channel. You play Mr. Big here. kicking me in the balls and nicking my airplane.
I deliberately did it, but the sad thing is, every time you go off and do that, the views go up. You get.
The chat were disappointed. They did ask where you'd gone.
You're going to have to clip that one out, I think, because we were like,
Rachel, I know how they said it. They'll have said, "Oh, has he gone? Oh, whatever. Right, let's move on."
we were all bewildered. We were like,
what happened?
Anything wrong with his mic? Was there?
Yeah.
No?
Oh well, I'll go then, shall I?
Well, you've knocked off for the night.
I'm falling in love with the Aussies again. I think, shall I just do detoxes every day? Because they wouldn't dare sabotage the channel. No, it's drained. Now
I'm totally offended by the way that you brought a gun to the stream.
Oh, yes, a gun, yeah. I tell you what,
no.
I wish this was a tissue compression eliminator on John.
Well, it's a good thing. Good thing for you. I didn't order the Odor Eaters insole sonic screwdriver that they used in the last era of Doctor Who.
The
shooty
shoe
sonic.
driver.
I was going to say the only thing I've got in the shape of that is a foot file. I scrape the cracks off my feet.
Screwdriver. Yeah.
Well, you might have seen the Lethal Weapon, but my source said there was no buzz about Shooty's Gatwa's era. This is another reason why there was. Yeah. If they have doubts about the talent, and they think, well, we might hold on to him a bit longer, but if there's no buzz about the era, if there's no love for the era, if the ratings are tanking, you're out, aren't you?
Yeah.
You would think so.
You would think so. And of course, you just have to remember, he didn't seem to win over the public. You could argue, I've just shown the grass comment again, that he took on the public. On top of that, he and Russell T in interviews had said, the Doctor's never been a straight character anyway, so you lot haven't been watching properly. So basically, they were changing the content. And so they're changing the content, getting quite oppositional and quite provocative. Add that all together, and if the ratings aren't good, I think we might have to get the Who Can Pull You Off. A bit like you do to me on every stream at the moment. Unbelievable. Honestly.
No comment there.
Yeah, no, you're all guilty as charged. The Guardian said it. No, the Guardian, the Telegraph, everybody's coming out and saying they knew it was terrible. But they all agreed to say it's not, because that's what the media does. You all phone each other up and say, this is effing horrendous. Look, we'll throw you a bite, give you a special, just lay off. That's what goes on. We know that. There's all trade-offs. But now the problem is too big, the noise is too big, and now everybody's telling the truth. That was what my media producer said.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't surprise me at all. I don't think we're out of that climate just yet. I think we've got a long way to go. I think the same people that were doing this, they're the same people that are going to be ramping up the hype for the war between the land and the sea, saying it's the best thing they've ever seen, since Casablanca. It's just top drawer stuff, and that'll always continue. And it's we all see through it. That's the thing. The audience sees through it. We're in the age of spin more than ever at the moment. When the viewing figures were dropping like a stone every single week, and they were all coming out and they were saying, oh no, it's great in a demographics that we wanted. Yeah, what demographics was that then? The graveyard demographics, because that's where you were. It just shows that these journalists aren't to be trusted, because they will just follow whatever is told to them.
I've got to push back on various. It's not just because you're saying stuff, John, but the other thing is, to be fair, because on the sense free, I'm trying to push back sometimes. They have said recently, I'm a Celebrity is getting the worst ratings it has for years, partly because it's in Australia. No, it is. That's gone downhill. There's only Traitors and a few other things that have booked the trend. So everything in comparison, Strictly Come Dancing is getting less figures. So maybe Doctor Who's just part of that.
No, I will say to you, when the war between the land and the sea comes out, it'll be a different story. It'll be the hype from RTD again, and it'll be the usual spin from the media about, this is 5-star, this is great, You can't, honestly, you're going to love this. And then you'll get to the first episode where you've got a sea devil in the ocean. He's got a bag of Walker's crisp stuck to his forehead, you know, and suddenly it's a major crisis. That's what's coming. That's what's going to happen. Yeah.
Well, first of all, he put himself out, got up early. I'm very appreciative of that. And but before you go, pure historical drain, Sirens of Audio, you are getting the guests in, aren't you?
Oh, sometimes.
Carol Ann Ford,
most recent,
modest sod.
Most recently, we had the actor who plays the first Doctor on Big Finish join us and did a trivia quiz with us. So check that out. I'm taking a break, so I'm not putting out any more podcasts until next year now. So my co-host is in the UK at the moment. So, but previous to that, I did talk about it last time I was on the Sensphere, but it has been released now. Our chat with Mark Strickson, which has been really people have been enjoying that one. So check that one out. Yeah.
Really
Especially my skit at the beginning, eh, John?
Oh,
yes.
First class. Honestly, if you haven't seen that Sirens of Audio intro and skit for the beginning of that Mark Strickson interview, trust me, go and watch it because it is just top draw. It's so good.
Yes.
Oh, shucks, God.
The way you go, Mordrin Undead, and the effects and everything. Yeah, you've got to check it out. But you do this a lot, actually. You're very clever on that stuff. My Hoopets are very jealous. So yes, Sirens of Audio, Carol Ann Ford, they're getting them in. Louise Jameson is coming in a month or two, is she?
March next year she'll be with us. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, honestly. But thanks for getting up early. Thanks, good mate.
Yeah, my pleasure.
I'll have to do a detox.
And to answer the question, yes, I think he was sacked.
See you later, mate. See ya.
Cheers, Dwayne.
Gotcha.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. So there you go. We got it out of him at last. Took an hour or two. Good old Marie. Hiya. He laughed knowing they were peeing everyone off. Yeah, right. Okay. I know. Shocking. I'm going to have to thank you in another way. I mean, have I got any videos left? Oh, what is the point, by the way, with a spin-off? Just as a by the by, they make 5 separate episodes, but they're going to put 2 together, then 1. What's the bloody point?
I don't understand. Wait, that's what they've decided to do?
They're putting episode 1, then episode 2 back to back, then episode 3 and episode 4 back to back, and then episode 5. So what's the point of that?
I mean, it doesn't explain all of it. Again, it would make more sense if it was a Disney Plus thing, but that's delayed to next year because what Disney Plus do is they put 2 episodes together because obviously in the US, they're rated on the watch minutes. So cramming 2 episodes together for the first week, they then spin it and they say, oh, look, you know, we got so many watch minutes for this new series, when in fact they put 2 episodes together, not 1. So that's what they do. But can I just say, with it coming in January for Disney Plus, I'm predicting, as I've said before, that's going to be on. Literally, all of it will be dumped in one go. They'll do what they did with the Echo series on Marvel, and literally anything that's complete rubbish, Disney just dumped the whole series over one weekend just to get it gone.
Yeah. Well, that's what I heard, that Disney are so embarrassed by their association with Doctor Who that they really have no interest in all of this now. What a shame. They've put the money up front. No interest at all. So we heard Dwayne as his parting comment. He definitely thinks Ncuti was sacked. I believe Ncuti was sacked. John?
Yeah, I'd have to concur now. I think he was sacked. I think, as I said a few minutes ago, I think the fact that there was controversy with the Eurovision situation, whether he did it or not, there was certainly 100% controversy, and he was right in the center of it. So it adds to what had gone on before. There was obviously Millie Gibson had gone as well. There was rumors about that. Everywhere he seems to go, there seems to be some sort of controversy. Plus, you add in the fact his attitude and his comments to the audience before the series had already started. Yeah, I say, yeah, he was sacked due to a bad attitude behind the scenes. He was done.
Yeah. Now, Rachel, I know you've been more on the fence on this
Yeah.
one. Your final thought on this?
No,
before-
I still sit on the fence. We won't know until his NDA's up really what was going on there, I think, if he ever chooses to say anything. I still think he's sat on the fence. I think he was pushed, but he was told that he was going to announce that he was stepping down and do it that way rather than a direct sacking.
Yeah. Okay then. Well,
That's what I
first of all, good to see you back, Rachel. But what have you been up to on your channel, and what can we look forward to?
Well, I've been a bit naughty on my channel, apparently. We'll sort that out. Don't worry.
It's not like you.
No, it was something else in the video, and apparently that was a problem. So anyway, I'll get that sorted out. So there's that. Check that you're still subscribed to my channel as well, because it's doing that wonderful thing where it unsubscribes people at the moment. But basically, I've changed my schedule, my upload schedule to suit my work schedule, my current work schedule. So I am now releasing videos Thursday through to Monday, going back to 5 days, which is what I had originally, and they will all still be at 4 p.m.
Okay. You're very productive still. I mean, it's hard.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not working and I can just about do it, but it's amazing that you both, with your channels, are able to do so much content while you have a job as well. So good to see you back, Rachel. Welcome
Thank you
back.
for having me back.
Please, everybody, check your subs for Chat About It, Don't Shout About It. And John, have you got a channel? I mean, anything about Stargate or anything?
Yeah, it's funny you should say that. I've got Sci-Fi Chronicles, and obviously earlier this year I started doing Stargate SG-1 watch parties, and we had the fantastic news last week that Stargate is coming back with a new series. So there's been a lot of excitement about that. The watch parties are doing really well. And then I've got Friday nights, I've got the pub chat show, which is me and Ian David Diaz and another chat called Swappers. And we just basically riff and talk about the latest news that's gone on in the week and have a good laugh. So, feel free to check that out. Or come and join us on the Stargate watch parties and get familiar with the series before it returns.
There you go. On the sense for you. Am I having a break? Nah. Tomorrow, it's me and Simon Lydiard again. We're looking at First Contact with 15 episodes. He's got some lovely stories about this.
Oh, cool.
So check that one out. And my other mate, he's in the thread. I can see him, Stefan. On Monday night, we're doing Fury from the Deep, missing episodes. So there's lots of content coming. So there you go. Sci-Fi Chronicles 79, lots happening. Chat About It, Don't Shout About It. And the Sense for You. We're 3 busy bees.
Very busy.
Yeah. So thank you all for coming on. That was the show that was. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Bye.
RTD wants Sensphere shut down. Those hoopheads have had the last hand up them. Time to die. This is giving me the creeps. This never happened on Finger Bombs. One by one, they're all mine. They don't like it up 'em. All this walking, I wish I had my Benidorm motor scooter. Cry havoc!